Say hey, everyone. Welcome into another edition of Say Hey Plays. My name is Jose Bouquett. Alongside me today is my guy, Donnie Rightside. Donnie, how's everything going over your world?
Feeling good, man. Nice and hot here in the Northeast. I'm talking about hot, Jose. Hot in Philadelphia with those Phillies, too. Feeling good.
But yeah, the Phillies are doing good. I'm happy to see it. As a pseudo Phillies fan that's bet them to win the division the last 3 years, I'm glad to see they're actually going to make the playoffs this year. So that's good to see. It's good to see a lot of playoff streaks being broken this year. It seems helps that obviously that extra wild card spot was added, but it's nice to see that as always. Now, let's get right into it, Donnie, because it's been a tumultuous couple of days for me, and I mentioned it to you right off the top what you got in here. Terrible stretch I've been in. Once upon a time, I was up 30 units. Now I'm only up 6 units. It's been a precipitous fall. I lose, of course, Milwaukee first 5 minus a half. Fifth inning home run just brutalizes me. And that's just how it's been the last couple of days. But we're going to keep on firing. I'm going to come out with some positive energy, and this shit's going to turn. It can't end like this. We're going to turn it around. We have a long season. It's not going to end like this, damn it. It's not going to end like this. We're going to fight it, and I cannot wait. Donnie, are you ready to officially start this show?
Yeah, I'm ready. And by the way, also, everybody's been there before. About a week and a half ago, coming outside the All-Star break, I feel like I couldn't pick my nose going, what happened to my numbers? Where are they at? Last week had a great week, splitting this week. So it happens. Baseball's long, man. It's a long season. Ebbs, flows. As long as you're up, that's the key. And you keep firing, you'll be able to get after it, Jose. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we're going to keep firing today for sure. Say hey plays. A little bit of 1, 2, 3 action. Say Hey Plays 123 underway here. We've got Phillies Marlins to start this off. Going to be a fun show here. Of course, always fun talking Phillies with Donnie. And I've seen a lot of people on Sandy Alcantara today. The total pumps up to 7 to 7.5. I find this obviously a fascinating spot with Noah Syndergaard. Who knows what we're going to get from him? Donnie, I'll ask you to start this off. How do you feel about Noah Syndergaard coming into the start?
I like Noah Syndergaard coming to the Philadelphia Phillies because it means that there's no more Bailey Falter starts here every 5th day. So I do like that, but he wasn't impressive in his first start with the Philadelphia Phillies. And quite frankly, Jose hasn't been all that impressive in his time with Los Angeles. But I do like him coming into tonight because everybody should like pitching against that Marlins lineup, Jose.
You are 100% right about that, which is kind of surprising, or it surprised me when I saw this total pump from 7 to 7.5 now. Sandy, obviously, he's probably going to waltz into his NL Cy Young. His last game for him was a complete game against the Reds. We can wax poetically about Sandy for ages. We just know he's a great pitcher against Noah Syndergaard, who has been up and down and ultimately is scary at the end of the day. So I passed on this game. My play, if I had to pick a side, would be the Marlins here. And plus money on Sandy is always appealing, but I don't want to get in front of this Phillies wagon right now. And Donnie, you'll be able to say this, or you'll be able to answer this question, I'm sure. Bryce Harper's coming back soon, so I'm sure that gives the boys a little pep in their step as well. So ultimately a pass game, but watch out for those Phillies, especially in the playoffs too.
Yeah, I'll tell you, it's kind of interesting with Bryce Harper coming back in a couple weeks. This team's absolutely been on fire at the plate, which you think Bryce Harper MVP coming back should only help the cause. And I do think it actually will. It's not like these ones. Oh, the Washington Nationals are a better baseball team without Harper. Yeah, I get they won the World Series. They weren't a better team without the MVP of the National League. It's the same thing with the Phillies now. They're playing good baseball, but when Bryce Harper comes back, that should increase. Tonight's game with Sandy Alcantara, I think he handles his business tonight. I do. Now, that's not to say that the Marlins are going to win this game, because why? Their offense stinks. So if they score 4 runs tonight, Jose, that is a miracle, but that might be all you need to win tonight. So I actually went with the under 7.5 in this ball game, because if I think Noah Syndergaard can keep it under wraps, right? 6 innings, 2 earned runs, which should be doable against the Marlins here. That's the way I'm looking, because Alcantara is a sensational pitcher, and I would not be surprised if he goes 7 innings, 9 Ks, 2 or 3 earned runs in a close ball game. I'll take the under in this game in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I like it. I like that look. Honestly, I would agree with you with the under. If I had to pick a total side, it definitely would be under. I'm not betting an over an Indy Sandy Alcantara start. And no matter what, really, he got touched up. It wasn't the last start, obviously. It might have been the start before for a little bit. but he's been a machine all year. So ultimately, I'm passing. Like the underlook for you, Donnie. Let's move on to game of this little cap we've got going on. Blue Jays, Orioles, battle of the birds here. Barrios versus Kramer. And if you switch both these guys' numbers, you could really fool me in saying I believe Barrios coming into the season was a 4-3, 3 ERA pitcher, but instead he's been as bad as well. At least I thought he was bad, but I guess I'll say as bad as I thought. I didn't think he was going to be good this year. He's been the pivot guy for the Blue Jays. On a Blue Jays squad that I've said throughout the whole year that I think this team is going to represent the American League in the World Series. It's Astros, Blue Jays for me are the best two teams in the American League. And if Barrios can't get his shit together, then I don't think that's going to happen. So I always watch these Barrios starts with a little bit of an eye towards the postseason, just thinking, man, are we really going to get Barrios in game 3 of whatever series? Imagine they're going to be in the wild card, obviously. A deciding game with Barrios on the bump, not where you want to be as a Blue Jays fan, I'm sure. So I'm passing here, and if I had to pick, it'd be Orioles again, man. I really like this Blue Jays squad, but the Orioles have been just a hot team in the last, I should say, since the second half, not even since the All-Star break. They trade away Mancini and Jorge Lopez. I say Pablo Lopez. But it's just crazy to see that this Orioles team's doing a half game out of the wild card, 7-3 in their last 10. So a pass game for me, but boy, is this series fun to watch.
Yeah, I caught a loss the other night. I needed to get 5 runs for at least a push there for the Toronto Blue Jays. They couldn't get there. Last night, they actually did get to the 5 runs here for a push. But I'm going to go back on the bandwagon with the Toronto Blue Jays team total over 4.5. Got a little bit earlier this morning. Was at a -114 price at FanDuel. So I think they're going to be able to hit tonight. And it is a fade of Kramer for the most part. Now, I would like it much better if, a lot of these right-handed batters were batting in the old Camden yards, which had that fence moved in left field, which we now know is back. But Kramer's got a high xFIP last 30 days here, Jose, over a 5. He does very well against left-handed batters. He's a right-handed pitcher, but the problem is it's not very many left-handed batters. I see Tapia in the lineup tonight is the only left-handed batter for the Toronto Blue Jays. That means 8 right-handed batters, and where that matters here over the past 30 days, 45 batters Kramer has faced, a 442 weighted on base percentage, and a 302 ISO power number against him. I think Toronto hits tonight. I'm not so sure if they can win this game, but I do think they can get the 5 runs, and I'll take the team total on the Toronto Blue Jays tonight.
Beautiful. And see, we don't have to spend too much time on this game because our guy, the gas station report in DC, saying that it is raining there as well. So we will see, as always, if this game gets played. I don't know if it will. I always, I would at least like to talk about it like it is going to get played. But rain in the forecast, so always be aware there. Another pass game for me. This will be a theme of today's show. We'll see. Next game on the card, Red Sox, Braves, and the Red Sox are a dead baseball team. I've said this now a couple days. I was on the Operation Fade the Red Sox for the beginning of the second half. I got off that train because I got a little hope, and they smacked me in the face again. So ultimately, I'm not taking the Red Sox under any circumstances. Braves -1.5, but this is the only play that I'm adding on today because shout out to my father, Jimmy the Bag. We mentioned it earlier today. A lot of money on the over, and it bounced down from 9.5 to 9. Why are they making it more appealing to bet the over? Because I think this game's going to go in under. So I'm taking the under 9 at +100 here. If I can win this one, I can feel like this is the one. If this is the one that wins, the season or the last week turns, we get back on track. So we need this one. Come on, Nick Pivetta. And Kyle Wright, just do your thing, my man. Come on. So, Donnie, what do you got on this one?
Yeah, it's kind of funny bringing this game up because it is a sharp play. Most people say, now, hold on. Nick Pivetta start hasn't been all that good over the past, 30 to 60 days. The Braves bats can typically get over sometimes by themselves, but we don't have those ultimate hot conditions here like we've had over the past couple of days. 71 degrees at first pitch with, I believe, a light wind blowing in. So it's not that 85 to 90 degrees where that ball is really going to travel, but also take a look. Pivetta has been really bad, particularly over the last month here. Lefty batters against him, a 530 weighted on base percentage, but righties, he's actually handled his business. And as you know, most teams are going to have more righties in the lineup than lefties, even regardless, outside of the Arizona Diamondbacks, who seemingly can line up 8 left-handed batters in a night. But also, if we take a look at the Boston hitters tonight going up against Kyle Wright, he struggled against left-handed batters, but not against right-handed batters. He's been sensational. And if we look at both of these lineups all together and how they match up against right-handed pitching, on the Boston Red Sox. Rafael Devers, a 394 weighted on base percentage. Sensational over the past 30 days. Arroyo, 363. Outside of that, everybody is below 325, which is the Major League Baseball average. And getting back to the Atlanta batters, which are potent here, you got a couple guys in the middle. Riley, Olsen, and Contreras, elevated ISO power numbers than Harris out of that 9-hole or 8-hole tonight where he's going to be hitting. But outside of that, they're a huge K team here tonight. I think it is a sharp play, and you're right. 9.5 dips to 9 for a reason. That's your reason right there. Both of these offenses don't project all that well to these pitchers. Having said that, it's still Nick Pivetta, right? So things could go wrong, but I like where you're going with this one. It's not a lot of green lights for me in either one of these lineups.
And I'll tell you that the Christian Arroyo, all that, I guarantee you was all from yesterday, too. That got all pumped up from yesterday. That was his first good game, and I don't know how long. And you know what's crazy to me, Donnie? One of the things that I just simply would not have believed, if you would have told me in March or whenever the baseball season started, that Xander Bogaerts and JD Martinez both will have 9 home runs in August. 9. I don't know. I believe you, man. So there's just this Red Sox team is just so shit. Very tough scene. Under game for me here. And I'll let you guys know now, that is the only addition I've had on this card. We'll talk about the Yankees game here shortly when we recap all of the action. But I've got the Yankees team to over 3.5. And, of course, they're doing what the Yankees do and just be shit bums. So that's classic. But we'll move on. Yeah. Let's hold on to this game. Cleveland versus Detroit. Drew Hutchinson here. I don't know how I feel about Drew, truthfully. I ultimately, I backed him against Toronto, which was great. He pitched well against his former squad, but was that a flash in the pan? Was that, I don't know, was that it? Was that all he had right there? Just one more revenge start? I'm not sure. And then Aaron Savali, of course, coming off the IL, a little wrist injury there. He pitched okay in his one AAA start, 4 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 3 Ks, 2 walks. But that's unfortunately, I don't want to back him, obviously, at a -175 price here. And typically, I'd rather fade pitchers coming off the IL. So over or pass for me here.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's interesting here, because Savali, right? If we take a look at that 60-day snapshot, he's actually got an XFIP minus number of 103. If you were just doing, Jose, a side-by-side comparison, old school, like, hey, who's got the better ERA over the past 60 days? It's actually Drew Hutchinson here with his 4.37 compared to Savali's 6.17. I don't factor in all that much with ERA. You look more at those Sierra numbers, those analytical ones, 3.95 here for Savali. Drew Hutchinson, a 5.28. Also, if you couple that with the last 60-day XFIP number of 5.07, it looks like the heavy favorite, and rightfully so. You say, I don't want to lay the -180 on the road, and I understand that, but I would be hard-pressed to believe that the Guardians actually fighting for a playoff spot, the Detroit Tigers, who fired their GM today, are going to be playing for all that much. I think the Guardians can win this one. If I'm just looking to say, leaving the bullpens out of it, just going first 5 run line here on the Guardians, I would be surprised if the Detroit Tigers here, Jose, are up even after 5 innings here. I think it's a pretty good matchup, and I do think Cleveland hits tonight.
Yeah, and obviously the Tigers are the worst team against righties in the league. Full season, I don't have that number in front of me, but we all know they're awful. But since the All-Star break, 30th, 60 weighted runs created plus. It's just bad. It's just bad. And ultimately, that's what you can do in Cleveland if you're keeping track at home. 15th since the All-Star break, 105 weighted runs created plus. So, I mean, if you're betting the over, you're hoping that Cleveland just gives them a big old dog stomp in there, and hopefully that any runs you can get from the Tigers is just a bonus. But pass game for me here. So let's move on. Let's move on to White Sox Royals here. And what an interesting matchup, because I forget who says it in the chat who mentioned it first, but I'll echo it as well. Johnny Cueto, the MVP of the White Sox this year, just truly has kept them, I don't want to call it afloat, but it has kept them in games a lot of times when he's pitching, especially when, people like myself, you see Johnny Cueto, you're like, that's a 0. That's nothing. He's got nothing in the tank left, but he's been playing well, pitching well, giving up hits, 8 innings, 11 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 Ks, no walks against the Texas Rangers, but he always gets the outs, man. Always finds the outs, gets out of jams. He's pitched in World Series before. This guy's not scared. I'll say this, the emotional angle of baseball is obviously something we need to cap as well. People forget that Johnny Cueto was a Royals stud. He was that before the Giants? I don't remember now. But Johnny Cueto has been everywhere now. but he was in the playoff runs for the Royals. I don't remember if he won the World Series with the Royals. He was with Jordan Ventura and all those guys. But I think it's going to be an emotional return for him, and I think he pitches well. Eric Hosmer got the same kind of ovation when he came back. It was his first game back in Kauffman. So expect some standing ovations for Johnny. But I'll ultimately a pass here. I think it'll be a good game. And truthfully, I'd rather take the under here because I think Bubic will be able to pitch well against this White Sox squad, truthfully, with no TA. Remember that.
Yeah, exactly. Tim Anderson down in that lineup. They haven't performed all that much. This was one of the teams coming into the season. Many of us were high on like, hey, this is the year for the White Sox. Power pitching in the front of that rotation, a lot of power bats in the lineup. It certainly hasn't formulated that way in 2022. But I do agree with you here. The 8.5, I'd be more likely to take the under than the over. No real play in this game. And Johnny Cueto, all those years with the Cincinnati Reds, the 1 year in 2015 with Kansas City, which I believe, did they win it in 16? When did Kansas City win it? Was it 15 that they won it?
I think it was 16 because 15. I just remember
all those years with the Giants. Yeah,
man, you know what?
Actually, he did pitch it. It might have been 15 because it says he pitched in the postseason for Kansas City in 15. Did they make the playoffs outside of winning the World Series?
So they won the World Series in 15, and then 16 they won. They didn't win it, but they went in 14, lost it, and won it in 15. There we go. So there's your baseball history right there. Yeah, no, Johnny Cueto is an interesting guy, man. And what an interesting career he's had. If you would have told me it was only one season, not even a season in the Royals, I would have been shocked. I thought it was multiple. But that's a fun stat there. I'll pass here, but under would be my spot. By the way, just for, again, people keeping track at home, the White Sox against lefties since the All-Star break, they are obviously not the lefty smashers they were last year, I think it was, or the year before. 27th. 64 weighted runs created plus. Royals, obviously not a good hitting squad themselves. 22nd, 93 weighted runs created plus. So, yeah, bad ball for both these guys. Unders would be the spot there. Let's move on to the blackout bowl, as I call it, Texas versus Houston. Obviously, I'm not watching this game because blackouts will not allow it. But, I mean, this is a minus 300 price. And you know, I said it earlier today with the Reds. If I was up double-digit units again, riding high, not on this cold streak, I'd be on Rangers' first 5 full game. But right now, I'm just not in a position to take the Rangers' first 5 full game. If I had to pick one, I think it's obviously full game Rangers here because you'll get Justin Verlander for every fucking pitch of those first 5 innings. And that's a tough proposition. At least full game, you know, maybe you get a blue bullpen implosion. Verlander probably going to win AL Cy Young as well, which, man, I feel so stupid not betting that. I feel so stupid not betting that coming into the season. I guess, you know, Tommy John scares you off, but what a season and what a career. The modern day Nolan Ryan, as I call him, Justin Verlander has had. So a pass game here, but a little surprised that this total was a 7. I probably leaned over just because I respect the Astros bats a little bit.
Yeah, I'm actually going under in this game, 7.5 at a minus 114 price. And here's the reason why. You are getting the best of Verlander. I think he's going to be dominant tonight. Another feather in his cap on being the AL Cy Young Award winner, which I do believe he's going to win this year. But if we flip it over to the other side, the problem is you're right. You look at the lineup overall for the Houston Astros going up against Otto. You say they probably should feast. Last 30-day snapshot, xFIP number a little bit high for Otto. Actually not doing all that well against right-handed batters, which is primarily where the runs are going to come from for the Houston Astros, a 392 weighted on base percentage. But with the lineup that they have tonight, we're talking about the Astros. If we don't look at full season and just go 30 days where both of these guys have 40, 50, 60 at bats, the right-handed batters haven't performed all that well here, Jose, against right-handed pitching. If we take a look at Jose Altuve, 295 weighted on base percentage. Yuri Gurriel, 270 here. Now, Bregman's elevated at a 368, so he's going to be a problem in the middle of this order. But Pena, 214, McCormick, 249, Dubon, 255, and Maldonado, 235. There's not a lot of big bats. This screams the ultimate because we take a look at Houston and say, boy, why are they always an under team? Well, they get great pitching, so they say, we get 4 runs, Jose. We got this locked up and probably covered the run line. I'm going to go under 7.5 in this game where Houston's going to win this, but I don't think they need to do that much damage here. I don't.
They are the kings of the under.
They are.
Them. And if you look on, I think it's Swish Analytics I was looking at earlier, they've got the little chart with your lovely over-unders. It's so funny that everyone just like always like total high to the overs, whatever, 50%. And then like 35%. It's the Astros and the Tigers. just because the Tigers, it's just the two different dichotomies there too.
Yeah.
Tigers can't hit worth a shit, so
Exactly.
they always hit the unders. And the Astros are so good at pitching that they always hit the unders too. And I think you're 100% right. It's really like Astros, they score 5, we're good. Lock it up, no problem. We've got it under control for the rest of the game. And what's, again, I say this quite frequently as well. The worst part about this Astros team is their bullpen, and their bullpen is the best in technically the best in baseball, best ERA. Yeah. So, man, oh man, is it crazy to see. So I'll pass on this game, but it's if you can't see that the Astros are the best team in the American League, then I don't know what game you're watching. It's them and in my opinion, the Blue Jays. But I think it's Astros clear cut for sure. Shout out to Ski Profit for watching as well. Appreciate it. And shout out to everyone watching as always. Harambe's Revenge is a great name. Ix Snizzle, Jeffrey Blue, Cheshire Cat, James S., Damon Santori dropping some Johnny Cueto knowledge on us. Eric Chang, we appreciate you guys as always for watching. We've got 3 more games. And this one's a special one. This was a special one, Donnie. Let's just – I need to hit this. Give me the breaking news.
What's up, dry humpers, shoe chewers, crotch lickers, rawhide sleeps? This is Stella the Dog with today's Colorado Rockies Coors Field weather update. The STL are in the Mile High City to take on my Rockies in a 3-game series. Although yesterday's game was surprisingly a Rockies blowout, overall the Rockies are predictably sliding into oblivion, so I expect to be all jacked up on rawhides by the 4th inning. Mad Cow OG strain, probs. Shout out to the Daily Sesh. Today's first pitch will be at 6:40 p.m. Mountain Time. I know Obla metric system, so no idea what that means for you Canadians. Sorry, my apologize. The weather is going to be hot and dry as a milk bone fart. First pitch temps will be in the low to mid-90s, around Jose's varsity wrestling weight. There will be no precipitation at Coors until this weekend, so just hot and blowy for the next few days. Typical Coors summer weather. This is a left-on-left matchup, and the Rockies have been ass against lefties over the last 3 weeks, with a dead last weighted RC plus of 50, while the Cards are 5th best at 133. Freeland is on the mound for the Rockies, and although he's been slightly better formed recently, mostly on the road, betting on him in this game against the St. Louis Cardinals, who rake against lefties, would be about as fun as taking the doggy door out onto Jimmy's pigeon porch for a stroll. Well, for my dad Stella Girl, who's a dude, this is Stella the Dog. Good luck, and let's get that kibble.
Beautiful. Thank you to Stella the Dog with a lovely weather report, as always, and appreciate Stella.
Animated.
As well, the Stella the Dog, Let me tell you, when the dogs give you the weather report, they give you their unbridled thoughts. So I appreciate Stella the Dog, as always, giving us some little Kyle Freeland and Rocky thoughts as well here. Nice day. It seems like a nice little day for baseball. This total has kept pumping and pumping up here, too. And it was, I believe it opened at 11, gone to 11.
It was 11.
And just gone all the way up to 12.5 now. So it's obvious what we see here. It seems like it's going to be a over kind of game. And I think the Cardinals come out here and roll after a really disappointing, game yesterday. I'll take I'll take the Cardinals here, but I'm going to specifically take them in our Say Hey parlay, which we do at the end of every show now, as always. We've hit an alarming amount. And Donnie, I have a classic Capper's conundrum. I'll bet it, and then I'll forget to tweet it, and you can't count it to the official record. So it's a classic case. Classic case there. But the Say Hey parlay, I'll tell you, leg one, my leg will be the Cardinals team total here. Shout out to Matty Ice, Tame Play of the Day, which is also Cardinals as well. I was deciding whether team total or money line here, but I can get a minus 115, and I think they roll. So I like the Cardinals today. Donnie, what do you think?
Yeah, don't be afraid of those high numbers at Coors Field, too. You get a full 9 at-bats for the Cardinals, 6.5 showing at a minus 120 price here at FanDuel. So you got to get 7 to win, but quite frankly, they might be able to do that just with the weather alone. Anytime you're playing a game, hot, muggy conditions, 90 degrees with a slight wind blowing out of Coors, you could be 0-0 in the 3rd inning, blink an eye, and it's 6-3 heading into the 5th. That's what happens out there. Now, also, if you take a look at Quintana, he's been wonderful, But a lot of pitchers are wonderful here, Jose, outside of Coors. You saw Miles Michaelis roll up yesterday. Hey, it's going to be no problem, boys. Get on my back. We'll beat this hapless Rockies team. Not the case. They found themselves down 12-0 right away. So if you're looking at the splits here last 30 days, look at Quintana. Lefties at 201 weighted on base percentage, righties at 240. And you look at the Rockies lineup that doesn't hit lefties all that much. You should have the advantage for St. Louis, but they should have had the advantage yesterday. Now, here's where it comes into play, where you sort of take that leap of faith. Kyle Freeland here, that xFIP, right around 4.5 for the past 30 days. He struggles against lefties, which is interesting considering he's a lefty, but notorious here. It used to be Chicago White Sox. The St. Louis Cardinals really hit left-handed pitching. The middle of that lineup just weighted on base percentages here. And some of the batters, Goldschmidt 545, Arenado 412, Pujols 453, O'Neill 391, DeJong 649, Newpart 394. They do damage. They should win tonight. As long as you don't have Quintana, oh my God, I don't have the pitching cores, they should win this game, and they should cover the run line here. I do believe that.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, man. It's really a Cardinal spot here. I think the Cardinals roll. Freeland has been pitching well, like we guys have been mentioning, but I think the Cardinals' offense against lefties is just going to be too much for him here. And he's not Kershaw, you know. He's not one of those guys you can count on to pitch well every single day, back to back to back, all the time. So I think he pitches well. He pitches poorly here. And I think we'll get a fun matchup here. So there's the first leg of the Say Hey parlay here. Donnie, I'll ask you for a second leg to complete the parlay here at the end of the show. But
all right,
a lot of fun. Be a lot of fun as always. Donnie, it's what I've learned. You know what I've learned in the couple months I've been capping publicly?
Yeah.
People love parlays. PPP.
Love. Oh, my God.
People love parlays. Love them. And it's a fun time. And I also illustrate perfectly why parlays are so fucking tough, because I've hit one in the last 2 weeks. So it's perfect for everyone around. People love them. I'll show you why not to bet them, but I'll still give them out. It's a great time. Pittsburgh Pirates, Arizona Diamondbacks, Madison Bumgarner, and I think my guy Sharpie earlier on Betting with the Bag said this perfectly. Madison Bumgarner, we can all see it. He throws in the towel several times. I wish I could say it's a one start. He was like, oh, I got an error, and he's like, fuck it, whatever. I'm just gonna throw fastballs. No, he does it quite frequently. He knows. I guess since he went to Arizona, it's just been full collecting a check mode now. Ever since he left San Francisco, and he's confirmed no more playoffs for me. I'm gonna throw my innings. I'm gonna get my work in. And if you make an error or whatever happened in the field, I'm just going to get really angry and throw slop jalop for the rest of the game. And ultimately, I wish I could say I wanted to back the Pirates here, but I just can't do it against lefties. They're so bad against lefties. 29th since the All-Star break, 59 weighted runs created plus. The total is low for a reason here at 8. Truthfully, I mean, that's low for Arizona too. I'm going to say that I think it should be a 7, 7.5, but I don't think you can do that in Arizona. It's probably the weather, the roof's closed, but still, it's just ultimately another pass game for me here. But if I had to pick a side, I'm taking the Pirates here. I just don't trust Bumgarner at the end of the day. But the Pirates' bats against lefties are so bad. So bad.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Two bad teams here. Yesterday, I ended up cashing in a 4.5 on the Arizona Diamondbacks due to all those left-handed batters against a right-handed pitcher. Went to bed. They only had 2 runs, and it's one of those where I wake up in the morning. Oh, look at that. 6 runs total here. So the game went over as well. I don't have that same confidence in it tonight, but you're right. Most people look at Madison Bumgarner on the mound versus Keller and say, what, the Pirates are in town? Oh, he used to be a good pitcher. I'll take him. And it's not the case anymore. He's striking out about 15% of the batters on the season. Madison Bumgarner, under the last 30 days, it's dropped to 13%. Once one of the more dominant pitchers in Major League Baseball and also one of the more intimidating pitchers, that's not the case anymore. So I do have a pass on this game. I wish I had something to fade these two pitchers, but I don't have much in this game here, Jose.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you want to fade these two pitchers, but not against these two offenses. Just can't do it. By the way, 2-1 Yankees, Kyle Higashioka.
Hig.
Yeah, or I should say how the Yankees announcer says it. Kyle Higashioka just hits a home run. 2-1. I would appreciate it if he hit another one. But I'm probably the game's probably gonna stay 2-1 and just fucking infuriate me. Just really grinding my gears there. And by the way, bad management in Seattle's part. 115 pitches for Robbie Ray. No, man. Can't leave him out that long.
Yep.
Can't leave him out that long. Minnesota versus the Dodgers here. Last game, Ryan Pepio. And I think Ryan Pepio is like the perfect personification of a quadruple A pitcher. He dominates triple A. And I bet you he has a lot of fun, besides the best bus rides and all the shitty accommodations. I bet you he enjoys going out there and just dominating an 8-0 with a 2.27 ERA. But he's been there most of the year. He's had 4 appearances in the majors, 4 starts, I should say, 1 win. This last win was on the 7th, or no, I shouldn't say that, on the 5th of last month. So July 5th, Venezuelan Independence Day. Shout out to him. 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 6 Ks, 1 walk. I cannot bet on him. Well, I really can't even say that because it's the Dodgers offense that just really propels you, man. They're on a 2018 Red Sox kind of pace. They're really, really, really playing well. Like, it's shocking to see, especially after all their injuries. And I mean, I'll be honest. I've said the Dodgers aren't going to win the World Series this whole year. I didn't think they were one of the best 3 NL teams, or 2 NL teams, I guess I should say. And that looks tougher and tougher every day. That looks extremely tough every day. They are just really fucking good. And at the end of the day, they're going to have the 1 seed. They're going to have home field. And it's tough to beat the Dodgers at home, especially with Tony Gonsolin, who I think is going to tail off at the end of the year, obviously. But Tony Gonsolin's home ERA is a lot better than his road. And it's tough. So I pass on this game. I'm going to be interested to see how Sonny Gray goes into Los Angeles. I think he pitches well, so I wouldn't hate a first 5 under in this case. But ultimately, I'm passing here as well.
Yeah, it feels like it never matters, Jose, who's actually on the mound for the Dodgers. They just win. Bring up a guy, he wins. Lose Clayton Kershaw, you still win. Lose Walker Buehler for an extended period of time and not sure when he's coming back, you still win at this point. So if I were to tell you today in this game, you know what? Minnesota's probably going to get 5 runs. You're just being facetious, right? I'm not even so sure that's enough to beat the Los Angeles Dodgers because you expect those bats to continue to hammer away. Sonny Gray's a veteran here. He's got a decent xFIP over the past 30 days. He's done very well against left-handed batters, struggling a little bit against righties. But the question is never about the Dodgers and will they show up. It's about what you're going to get on the mound from the other team, specifically with Sonny Gray. I can't bet against him. I was doing a show yesterday where he talked about the same thing. Hey, Minnesota and the Dodgers, what do you like? Well, I'm certainly not betting against the Dodgers, and I have that same feeling tonight.
Yeah, I think your point about the Twins, like, I think that encapsulates it perfectly. Like, just close your eyes. Imagine the Twins scoring 5 runs.
Yeah.
Do you think that's enough to beat the Dodgers?
Probably
the Dodgers offense is on. No, it's not. And it's truly hilarious. And I have to remind myself sometimes that going into the season, like we were saying that this is one of the best offenses. I'm going to say the Dodgers offenses, best offenses we have ever seen put together. And hey, they're doing it for a reason. So shout out to the Dodgers here. Shout out to the Dodgers. I hope for your sake, Donnie, that the Phillies do not see them in round technically 1, but I hope they do not see them in the playoffs.
I don't know. If they see the Dodgers, I'll be a pretty happy man, which means like the endless Philly streak of never making the playoffs and we actually make it, I might be okay with that.
You know what, Donnie, I don't know. I don't have playoff odds in front of me. I feel like the Phillies to make the playoffs has got to be like minus 300 at this point.
Yeah, let's see if we got some of those. So they usually take them off the board sometimes when the games start for the day, but they would have to be. I would figure they would be a slight favorite here, being in the wild card and having a lead. I think they would probably be favored to make the playoffs at this point.
No, they got to be. They've got. It's a one game lead over the Padres, and the Brewers and the Padres are their own thing. And I'll tell you right now, their run differential too, plus 75, 9-1 last 10. Philadelphia, we're back.
Stay hot. They beat out Contra tonight. Let's go. Put that party on Broad Street. Sure.
Yeah. The Eagles, the Eagles are almost back too.
Here we go.
Goodness, everything's coming up Philadelphia.
It's a resurgence.
I love it. Donnie, I love having you on as always. The chat loves it as well. Shout out to everyone in the chat blowing up. We do need more Donnie Rightside in our lives as always. So thank you, Donnie, for coming on. We'll recap our plays here. Get a little hey parlay action. I'll start it off here. I've got one play underway right now. The Yankees over 3.5 minus 120. I'll be honest, that 2-run home run is a little discouraging because I feel like it's going to be a 2-1 ball game at the end of this. But we'll see. Obviously, we'll see. The bullpen for the Seattle Mariners has been taxed, and it was taxed yesterday, so might have something to say there. And the only other play is Boston, Atlanta, under 9 here at even money. You're talking to the coldest capper on the internet right now, but we're going to fucking turn it around here, and it's going to happen, and I cannot wait. Donnie, what are you on today?
Yeah, I got 3 plays today. Toronto team total over at 4.5 at a -114 price, and then back-to-back unders, which is very uncharacteristic from me. But if the under is the play and you like money, you got to bet what you think is going to win, and the numbers point in that direction. Rangers, Astros under 7.5, and also Phillies and the Marlins under 7.5. So 2 unders, 1 team total over. The goal is every time, just give me one more win than I lose. 2-1, perfect night. Let's go and have some fun.
I agree with that. Shout out to Judge Judy, Aaron Judge, giving us a home run. 3.
Oh, there he goes. MVP.
3-1. Yeah. Well, I'll stick with my Shohei Ohtani MVP. I'll stick there. Donnie, I'll tell you, these last 2 days have just been mental blenders for me. Not even because of the losing. I bet on the Yankees yesterday, and it was the last leg of the parlay, Yankees money line. And I was fucking pacing around my house just like for the Yankees. And I was like, who the fuck am I? And I was just getting furious because they ran into 5.
Running the bases?
Yeah. Oh, my God. It makes me so fucking sick. Makes me so sick. But today, if they can pull one out for me, maybe I'll have a little bit of warmth in my heart for Aaron Judge. Maybe a little bit, who still has yet to hit a clutch home run in his life. So I'm very excited about all of these scenarios, these happenings. Everything's going to change. Donnie, I thank you as always for joining me. It's going to be a fun time, of course. I can't wait to talk to you going forward into the season and the playoffs. Philadelphia is on fire. I cannot wait. Maybe we'll get some Eagles talk from you too. A little spoiler alert. I've been silently, and I don't want to say this too loudly because the people I play fantasy football against will be listening. I've been silently listening. Listening, and I've been AJ Brown. All right.
He's beasting in practice.
Okay.
Playmaker.
All right. Maybe a little. I hate Jalen Hurts. I hate him just as much as I don't like Garrett Cole because he went to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
But hey, I don't know. We'll have a lot of fun here today, Donnie. Donnie, where can the people find you at before we get out of here?
As always, at Right Side VP on Twitter. Also, CB Daily 2 times a day on the Sports Grid Network in the morning on the early line on TV and also on SiriusXM channel 159. And then also in the afternoon, that is the money line. Both myself and Kevin Walsh again come back on SiriusXM 159 from 1 to 3 p.m. And then various videos throughout the day with bookmakersreview.com. So love it, man. Living the life. Getting paid to talk sports. Who would have thunk it, right? What a life.
Yes, if you would have told... I was going to say 13-year-old Jose this, but I was going to say that's just 10 years ago. I bet you guys 10 years ago, you guys will hate me for that comment. But shout out to everyone watching, Cheshire Cat, Joseph Gomez, Mr. MDR, the parlay. Thank you for reminding me the parlay. This is a constant thing that I need to be reminded of. St. Louis team total over 6.5 minus 115. Donnie.
Yeah, match it up with another team total. Let's go Toronto's team total. I can't match up an over with you and send, hey, let's go with an under for a baseball game. If you're going to be cheering on runs, you got to be in that same mode. You can't be like, ooh, no runs here. Yeah, runs here. Cheer for runs tonight. Let's go Toronto. Put up a 5 spot. You cash in with a 7 spot out in Colorado. Sounds like a nice night.
Beautiful. Let me look real quick. And that's a Toronto team total over 4.5, I assume here, Donnie?
That's it. Yep, 4.5.
Beautiful. 4.5. There, I will tweet out lay odds, obviously, so don't you guys worry about that. But it is a team total parlay here, Cardinals and the Blue Jays. Donnie, thank you so much for joining me. I will see you again soon. It's going to be a lot of fun, as always, when we meet up. By the way, plus 237 there, as always.
It's a nice payday.
Yes, it is a nice payday indeed. So let's get right into it, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. Donnie, I'll see you soon. Chat, I'll see you guys tomorrow for another edition of Say Hey Plays. The Spin Doctor joining us tomorrow. So jump in. And by the way, don't forget the Daily Sesh. We're on right after this show. Will be about 15 minutes, I assume, because we ended early today. Let's go. We ended early today, and we're a good co-host and guest host as always. So shout out to everyone, and we will see you guys tomorrow for another edition Say hey, place.